Hey everyone, I know it's been a while, but I've been resting up, getting stuff cleaned and moving fish around. So I want to show off Elmer and his new tank mates. And yes, this is the only shirt I own, and probably it'll be in a live stream later today. So we're just gonna have to deal with that untimely shirt wearing. All right, so here we've got Elmer in his 230-gallon custom tank, and we've added lots of fish. So we got the pink-tailed Celsius we brought back from Peru. You guys have been watching these videos. We caught those. We caught these banded Leporinas. These guys get 6 or 7 inches. The pink-tailed Celsius, they're gonna get 8 to 12 inches. That's gonna be difficult. So that'll be, you know, a big load on this tank. They may upgrade to the 800-gallon eventually if that ends up being too much for what Elmer wants to handle. Well, the pink-bellied kind of Cupido Cichlids. Now, they're just like starting to get colored up. They were really stressed out. I had them on black substrate. Banded Leporinas there that we caught. You guys have been watching. Those guys are gonna get, you know, at least 6+ inches as well. And of course, the star of the show in this tank is Elmer. He's been chowing down on lots of good stuff. Still got that little bump on his head. But for the most part, adorable as ever. We also have a ghost knife in there. You can see his tail sticking up out of the center decoration. And again, he ate all the live plants that we put in, the floating plants, and there's still more stuff to do in here, but for now it was kind of getting fish in, and we were having some blue-green algae issues, which just seems to be kind of latent in my water here. But the Cupido Cichlids are now starting to make work of that. I've got the lights turned down as low as they go, so you know, letting kind of the Amazon fish get accustomed to it. Need to get like an algae eater, maybe some little autosynclus in here to clean up some of that. The fish room in general is looking good in my opinion. You know, kind of, it's all, not all put together, because that's not true either, but you know, a lot of stuff's going on. Been growing out plants. That's been the main goals, is getting plant mass up, because as plant mass goes up, you know, filtration goes up, the amount of babies goes up. Yeah, so I've been working on lots of floating water sprite. This is a cool tank over here. There's still lots of super reds with an auto feeder, but the shrimp population, this is a combo I've done in the past. It works out really well where you have shrimp. Hornwort is the plant I don't like, but I'm low on plants, so I'm just waiting. Oh man, duckweed. It's always, there's always so few pieces, and we go in and we try and pull them out. So in here we've got Geophagus Cichlids that we brought back from Peru. Now this is 4 additional, so I actually sent some home with Zenzo. He took 5. I put a bunch in the 800-gallon, which you'll see in a bit. But these guys, I just didn't catch them out yet because I had, you know, this would have been a group of 9 or so, and I was like, well, what do I want to do with these? And you can see what they do though. They continually dig, and so they've made like these ruts all around the edge of the aquarium and keep the substrate very churned. This female crib is ready to breed again. You can see how good she looks. There's the male. I kind of like just watching their dynamic. It's 1:30 in the afternoon right now. Feeding happens at 4 for my auto feeders. In this tank, it's really hard to see, but we've got some Cardinal Shrimp, and this is going to take Jimmy in a macro lens. They hide out underneath everything. They're very, very reclusive. Now I'm hoping over time they'll spawn, feeding very slowly. They've been here now for what, probably 3, oh here's one right here. But they have that red pattern with all those white dots and then white legs, and it makes it look like they're dancing. There's another one that kind of came out and is receding back into underneath that piece of black PVC pipe, but there's 10 of them in there and you wouldn't know it. That's, you know, this is a very, very long-term tank. With the load being so light, you know, like it's like an algae wave for every 3 or 4 days, right? It's actually barely supporting this floating plant. And so you can see that this is basically consuming itself to make new leaves. And it makes little babies like this. It can keep in this cycle for a very, very, very long time. Oh my gosh, there's a piece of duckweed. It's just that easy. These are the blue spotted Variatus I ordered off of Aquabid, and they definitely are, you know, kind of metallic-y blue and spotted. This is where the Cupido Cichlids were hanging out in quarantine, still just a big crypt farm. I realized the overhead lighting like this and then this bouncing makes it look not great on camera. Unforeseen consequence of setting up this way. But if we end up putting all our Aquarium Co-op lights right above, that'll fix it long term. Still no babies out of my Aspiodorus yet. Everything's still doing pretty well, but they're getting fat and happy and just doing what they do. They might be a little bit warm up here. Could move them. Best guppies in the world. This trio where I had lost the female and then some babies grew up, and so now we've got those two babies. Now hopefully, again, we need some more plant life in here, but those babies survived, and so we know babies can survive. By the way, another little tip. If you want maximum baby survival, a nice like tan kind of gravel like this that's kind of not 100% uniform size, fry can hide in there. A lot of times you'll find different species of fry hiding in the substrate, whereas here, this sand is not, this is like a normal kind of silica type sand, is not going to allow you that. Over here, you can see we've got some shrimp swimming around. Let's see if we got any, and scuds. A scud right in the corner there. I haven't, started feeding out any scuds, or I haven't really been power feeding this tank, but we do have tiger shrimp. This is where we had the pink-tailed Chelseas quarantine. Still no substrate. Haven't decided what we're doing in this tank. Oddly enough, they didn't eat any of the babies, all the baby guppy fry that were in here, because this is where we were testing Expel P and all of that, right? They all raised up. You would have put money that those fish that were this big would have gobbled all these up, and they didn't. Even being wild caught and all that. Strange. Still have not moved the ellipsifer eel yet. He still is hanging out in the back. He's meant to go with Elmer and all of that, but I moved in all those other fish, wanted to make sure that went well before I start thinking about moving anything else. This is a different species of Endler that I think it's El Tigre that Dean brought me before we went to Peru because he had way too many, and I said, sure, bring them over. I still have empty totes of fish, and we can always, just take them to the store or whatnot. And still got rainbow shiners in the green water. Haven't really found a use for the green water, so it's going to stay until I need it. Once I need it, it'll go. Orange laser corridoras kind of hanging out in here. Then I've got the floating crypts and these starting to be chunky monkey platinum half-beaks. I'm not seeing any fry yet, so you can see that's more of the platinum. Not really seeing fry because they eat their fry. I need way more plants to grow in. I realize you guys are like, that's what you always say, and I'm like, that's exactly what I need. I need more plants. Some of it is getting pretty filled with plants. Like this is Pogostemon stellatus octopus. It's a great plant that grows very fast, but it's not my favorite to work with when I got to catch fish and it can get shaded from light a little bit. And so really I'm just waiting for actual, growth of the plants I want, like this guy. But again, per 100 gallons, auto feeding, putting in frozen foods, it's not quite enough to support what's going on in here. So, that fish to plant ratio is pretty important. Let's take a look at Lady Bird, because Lady Bird's gotten some new tank mates, and I think I know the fish I want to put in because we were trying to figure it out the other day. So I added tons of fish, but it still does not seem. You see how like we stand right here, like everything and above seems empty. So we need something that's going to hang out, quote unquote, mid-water. But everything loves to eat. Here's all the longfin rosy barbs that I think look amazing. So we've got those. We've got Lady Bird. Now I think they've been breeding quite a bit because some of them get beat up from each other. And there are babies that run around in here. And then we've got Juraparis. They've taken care of the substrate issue. And then we've got the horseface loaches that'll probably run when I get a camera closer. But you can see that one kind of in the back. One ran, one's in the back. He was kind of rooting around in gravel. Same with those ones. Kind of back in the plants there. Yeah, you can see that one. That one's getting like a beating from other males. So I want to add some fish. They're doing really good on algae cleanup. You can see them. They'll continually pick at algae and things that are on the decorations. So Yeah, and then I've still got my 6 autosynclists and my still 1 burned out light. I'm considering just removing all of those lights and putting all my own lights on here, and I just haven't. I've been really focusing on myself and sleep and business. Business has been crazy tough, which, you know, you obviously have heard it's hard to hire people. Not that we need to hire people right now, but there's been, when lots of business need to hire people, we struggle as well, because then shipments aren't coming to us on time, and longer delays when things go wrong, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you doing okay? Looking at her tail, looks like a little gunk is on there. Just make sure you're doing all right. Yeah, you look like you're doing all right. You would eat. She eats every day, so, you know, but they can get mopey when you add, because this herd of fish mob the food. So anyway, the fish we're thinking about adding is some Cyprochromis, a nice kind of blue fish to offset the red, and they'll spawn midwater, they'll stay midwater. They won't affect plants. Like right now, it's kind of a hard life on these plants with all these Geophagus digging, all the loaches digging. You know, the plants are still alive, but, you know, all the lighting is still to the back, and so I really just gotta work on it and make, you know, the lighting be more up front, because it's there and there, which is all in the back half. And so, yeah, that one got really tall. Everything forward's kind of being shadowed. Let's see. These guys still come in really well. People don't like to buy them as much as I do, apparently. These little teacup platies, these are one of my favorite fish from my entire fish room. They look amazing against green plants. And you can see here, we've got quite a few fish, right? And so there's this big mass of Pogostemicelatus octopus, but then we have nice big size floating water sprite as well. You know, what I do is I'll grab like that baby and I'll move it to a different one, because I don't believe there's any duckweed in here. Pogostemicelatus octopus, you get a lot of this. You get a lot of roots going on, which it just doesn't look as good as some of the other options. The goldfish plant that Dean brought me, it did bloom, so it made these little goldfish. So if you're wondering, technically you can grow a goldfish plant in water. I don't know if I've shown this. I do have clown killies. Is that right? Yeah, rocket killies. These can be colony bred, which is fun. And so what that means is all you really got to do is let them do their thing. I need more plants in here. They need to eat more. You know, that's the problem with big totes. Either A, I needed to buy like 150 of these, which would have been very expensive, or I got 10, and now a little bit of food goes in, the food that they don't eat because they don't eat off the bottom. These snails will eat, so it doesn't just sit there and rot, but I end up with a decent amount of snails. That's not a bad thing for me, because these snails become turtle food, right? So I go and I throw them over into the turtles over here, and that's a good calcium source. But still lots of room. Like this whole row basically is empty. And aquabid's been a little light for what I've wanted to search for. This is one of the few totes, right, that doesn't have an auto feeder, right, that has fish in it. We were just feeding these by hand, and I moved the auto feeder to a different tank is what happened. And so by taking the auto feeders off, now it's a manual feed, and so there's not as much food going in here. And this has been like probably 2 or 3 weeks. Now we're getting where snails are dying off. There's not enough food like there was. So you see all these white shells. If you got too many snails, hold the food back. They'll start dying back. All right, well, I have an appointment. I have to go. There's Yellow Labs. I have to go to the bank at the moment with my business partner, so filming will pause for now. All right, well, it turned from I'll be back later turned into 4 days apparently. It's now Saturday, and I just thought I'd show off a cool little sign that I bought. This is, you know, if you want to call it an alien betta or whatever you want, but it's a green betta with LED, and I can see on the picture it looks a little weird. I'm gonna hang it somewhere. We have a blue one at the store, and same guy that did Zawa's Tank's logo, and also has done the Murphy. So we have the Murphy in here. This was before he was adding LED and that kind of stuff, and so yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's, well, I actually asked him. I asked if he was selling, like, you know, I was like, people will buy these. And he said, no, I'm not really selling them. So, I mean, I realize I bought them, but he does like one-ofs that he wants to do. kind of his thing. So he happened to do those 2 betas. If he's into it, he'll let us know, and I'll let you guys know where you can contract him to do some stuff. Hopefully I'll buy some more from him. He was at our local meet, which we did this past Saturday, which by the time this rolls out won't be the past Saturday, but it was a fun event, and looking forward to doing more stuff in person. I know I've been kind of absent. Well, that's not true either. I don't know. I feel like YouTube and the business and all that kind of stuff has basically just evolved. There's different phases. There's like, oh, I'm super not busy. I can live stream a ton. I can do a ton of videos. It's, I can travel and all that. And there's times like COVID where it's the opposite of that, where it's crazy stressful at work. Oh my gosh, there's a problem at the warehouse. There's an HR issue. USPS is changing things. We need to ship internationally. We got a bad review. We need to examine that. We need to install cargo containers and have asphalt done and all that stuff that's not so fun. Lately, the last, I would say, year or so, it's really been a lot of that. And I realize that might not be what you guys are interested in, and I get that. The alternative is I just quit doing video, and I don't want to do that either. Like, I do enjoy doing it, but I'm not sure that I can do an old school schedule where it was like the daily dose, where it was every day, or even when we were doing 3 videos plus a live stream, right? We kind of slowly keep backing it down to maintain that it stays doable. Trust me, I love fish. I wouldn't spend my day basically living in a fish tank. I surround myself with fish day in, day out, both work and then when I get, home, which I work from home, but, both home and work filled with work or with fish, and then, live streaming and videos and all that on top of that. So I love fish, and I love talking about fish. I've been thinking about this for, most of the morning and afternoon here. I think the problem is I'm tired of talking about the same things. We've covered, we've done 250 some live streams, right? And we've done over 1,000 videos. There are still new topics to cover. However, that doesn't mean I can cover them right away. Like, oh man, I'd really love to go to Africa, film underwater, do all of that, but that's not feasible right now during, kind of this post-pandemic thing where we're trying not to go out of business. Like, we're not on the brink of going out of business, but I don't want to get careless and then wind up 9 months down the road going, oh my gosh, we didn't see that coming, and with all of these challenges, we didn't adapt. It's not that there's not stuff I'm not interested in, it's that, off the top of my head, what am I interested in? That's a hard list to come up with. Could you do a video on puffers? Like, well, we've done 6. Could you do it on guppies? Done like 20 of those. Can you do it on boxing? We've done over 50. And then, well, what about diseases? Done some of those too. Not all of them, but I also don't think I have the expertise to handle all those. And so that's something like that idea I like. We're going to wait till we can get more of an expert, though, like a Dr. Tim Miller-Morgan or someone like that. I think the problem why I'm not really talking about fish in live streams, it's not fulfilling to me. And I realize what that sounds like, right? That sounds like, oh, he's not grateful for what he has or anything like that. I am. It's that my brain tends to go the opposite direction when it's, I'm remembering some of the questions I answered in the live stream, and it's no dig on any specific person, right? But, like one of them was, can I keep 4 pea puffers in a 5-gallon tank? I know we have articles that we've written about pea puffers. I know I have at least 3 videos that address that. That person may be new to the videos or the channel and not know that, but when I basically know I've been a part of 25 plus pieces of content to address that question, it's hard to get enthusiastic to be like 26. That's the one where I'm gonna have a lot of fun. How can we get new questions, not like a self-serving question? And what does that mean? That means that I have terrible lighting, and this is the worst spot to film, but I kind of dig it. Can I put X amount of rosy barbs in a 55-gallon tank is a very one tank, one person fulfilling type of question, right? Identifying topics that maybe are worthy of discussion haven't been covered 26 times, and the biggest problem for me is identifying those topics, because in my mind it's hard to remember, have we done a video? Did we just do a blog article? Have we done live streams on that? Did I just have that conversation with a fish farm owner and we never actually taped that? So to be fully engaged, gotta detach a little bit from that, the day-to-day grind, but then also have meaningful questions, and I think that's where you guys can come in. You can run into a, oh, I overheard a good conversation at my local club meeting, or I was having this really great conversation with just another person on a forum or whatever, and I thought that might be a great thing to talk about. And don't get discouraged. So if I don't pick that topic or pick up that question in the next live stream, don't hesitate to bring it back in another one. I feel like I was in the zone for a while, but then once I ran out of good topics, it kind of dwindled again. I see it in a lot of YouTubers, not just myself. It becomes this, oh, today's the day I have to do that thing so that I get, the YouTube stats and all of that. And I've stopped chasing YouTube stats and things like that quite a while ago. And so now it's, do I want to do that today? Do I have time to do that today? Is there something worth talking about? And for me, new products are worth talking about. Hardships in business are worth talking about. If someone brought up a great question in the comment section, that's worth talking about. But everyone's going to have a different opinion on what's a good topic, obviously. Yeah, I just wanted to basically just be frank and be like, look, there's burnout with, doing the same thing over and over and over again, trying to reinvent the wheel in different ways and look at things from a different perspective and try to give you guys more content that you guys will engage with too. It's not fun if people are like, when I do live stream, quit talking about business, or that wasn't a very good live stream, or why can't you talk about this? It's like, well, if you guys are having fun and I'm not having fun, why are we doing it? So, then I wait a couple weeks and I go, okay, let me try this new thing. And it might all look the same on your guys' end, but I am trying different things, at least on my end, or a new feature gets released, or we're going to see what we can pull off here and if it'll be fun and stuff like that. So that's the talk after the tour. Hopefully Jimmy got some B-roll and is worth looking at. But again, for me, I'm still on the lookout for fish, still having fun. I still like doing my thing. I am conflicted of just like, maybe I just need to turn this into a normal, like, instead of it being a fish YouTuber channel, like it's just a YouTube channel. If I'm going to show you like, look, I'm going camping or something, maybe you guys have to endure that. And I realize, oh, you're going to lose half your audience and all of that. I fully realize that's what would happen. However, how long can someone go and enjoy being on, let's say, public display or something? Like even actors and stuff, they take years off and they come back and do a good movie. And that's the thing. In 5 years, I've never had a break. We've never missed an upload. Well, would a break do it? If I just go, okay, I didn't make any videos for 3 months or 6 months and other people did, would I come back and be invigorated, or would I be like, oh my gosh, I never want to do it again? That was so good to not have to do it. We can't know till we get there. So my hope is that I'll still find it enjoyable. This actually is enjoyable. Sit down in front of a camera, talk with you guys and all of that. Like, I wouldn't want to do it every single day, but in the right moment, the Saturday afternoon, if you will. If I'm being honest, I'll probably check in to see if anyone wants to play some video games. If not, I'm going to work. And that's kind of how the day's been going so far. No one's been around, so I've just been working. And that's fun. I really enjoy work, and I think that's part of my problem here is that changing a product or changing the way marketing works or the website design or anything like that, and then seeing what happens is very fun because I get to see the results. It's very much in the same vein as trying to spawn fish for me. You put the fish together, you change the environment, then you get to see the results. And so that same thing that drives me to breed fish and do fish stuff, same thing that drives me in business. And so for me, it's kind of all the same, and I realize it's not all the same to everybody. So, but until next time, we're planning some trips. You might be watching this while we're in Florida at this point, I'm not sure. Until then, if you guys support us by kind of liking, subscribing, maybe you're already a member, maybe you're already purchasing from us. Right now I'm actually trying to research a lot about how often do pet people purchase. And the internet's kind of saying 4 times a month. That seems crazy, or not a month, 4 times a year. That seems crazy to me. I'm a fish guy, and obviously I purchase like once a week or something like that. Like I really buy a lot of stuff, and I'm always on the hunt. So I'm wondering if that's like just like a dog or a cat owner where they're like, oh, we buy bulk food once every quarter, or if that is true to the fish people. Are you guys ordering? I know if you're brand new to the hobby, you're probably ordering a lot and buying from your local store very often. But at this point in your hobby, how often are you actually buying? And especially it would be helpful if you actually looked into it and not just like, well, I buy like every month, because I would probably say the same thing about something else, and it's like, oh, actually, it's been 90 days or something. But yeah, we just want to, learn more about you guys as a customer and a fan and all of that, and try to tailor our offerings as best we can, right? Did making easy getting a bigger container mean you order less often? If so, should we be matching, things besides root tabs with like other stuff, so that we can line up products of like, oh, if people are going to order every quarter, let's try to get them all the products they need every quarter. So, all right, guys, thanks for hanging out. If you're all the way here at the end, I'll see you in another video.